Good afternoon, everyone. Fertilizer, seeds, and chemical supplies shouldn't be affected. We don't expect any supply chain disruptions. Oh, wait, China straining to get supplies to farmers. American Trucking Association, critical deliveries, various restrictions on movements and travel are imposed. Gee, that's an opposite message. World merchandise volume down. That includes fertilizer. Americans not making mortgage payments soar by 10x. 30% of renters didn't pay April apartment rent. So you got to wonder, do you think the suppliers are also not paying their vendors? Do you think that would be a lockup in the supply chain as well? And we're going to talk about this in depth tonight, Ransom and myself. Streaming live 10 p.m. to midnight at 420 TV, Freedomist Films, Revolution Radio, Studio A, freedomslips.com. Well, that's a first. The FDIC posting a video on YouTube urging Americans to keep your money in the banks. And it looks like the banking system could be in for a 10 times larger shock than the housing meltdown in 2008. And it's quirky that if it was such a stable financial system, the FDIC wouldn't need to say a word. With this much inflation on the way, only one investment stands out: gold. Patriot Gold Group has no fee for life IRAs where your IRA or 401k can be in physical gold or silver. At Patriot, you work directly with an owner and avoid paying absurd broker fees. Call today or request a free investment kit. PatriotGoldGroup.com. The link's in the description box below. What is good for the goose is not good for the gander. China, difficulty straining to get supplies to farmers during this unprecedented time. China's supply chains are just as vast as the United States. Plus all the manufacturing's over there, exactly where they make fertilizers and different constituents to reconstitute here in America to get our fertilizer production for this planting season. Yet as the article continues in The Economist, containment measures could affect delivery of inputs such as fertilizers, which they're also experiencing as we speak across China. Now, America being several weeks behind that country, so you would think the same outcomes would arise. And Jennifer Zeng, if you're looking for information about China at the moment and what's going on there with supply chains and government cover-up, this is your one stop right here on Twitter. But also, interestingly, the Chinese were really fascinated by the size of the hailstones, but the shape as well. So they were looking at it as more of a sign of, wow. But you know, this kind of hail, when it gets this large, you always see the protrusions that look exactly that starfish shape here. But with the same outcome expected from China and the United States, both with disruptions in shipping supply chains, I was shocked to read this successful farming article here that nothing should be impacted, including seed, fertilizer, and chemical supplies in 2020, but delivery procedures will change. Now, Nutrient Ag Solutions says they don't see any supply chain disruption. Again, these are the constituents that would be talked about in any farming circles here. You got the nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium, urea, potash, otherwise known as potash, and phosphate, among others. No supply chain disruption? Okay. And then we take a look at UPL, and they say most of its manufacturing facilities are located outside China, leaving them outside that whole constraint there. But then baffling to me is they say strategically located around the globe in 27 different facilities. Wait a second, everything's locked up and you got 27 different inbound points from 27 areas around the globe. That's a no-go. That's not functional. I don't know why they wrote that personally. But then even further in the article, potential trucking issues. So far it's not been disruptive coming out of the West Coast. Okay, that's the opposite of what we're hearing. Rest stops are closed, restaurants are closed, and they're forced to go through areas changing the number of driving hours so alleviation in the supply chain can happen. And then you see bottlenecks here, people dumping milk over there because they can't deliver it even in the same country to another place. So jumping over to American Trucking Association, they're talking about an entire revamp of exactly what I talked about, their legislation, the driving hours, and all these different throughput points to make goods move across our country. And even here in the bottom paragraph that they were talking about, they're working together with government and local authorities so that drivers can continue to make critical deliveries, even as, check it, various restrictions on movements and travel are imposed. I think they're not trying to scare you that we're not going to get our fertilizer, that our yields are going to be incredibly low this year, and your food prices are going to spike. You see everywhere across the landscape, just regular foods can't be delivered, and there's labor shortages to pick or plant. Now, this is not a very good combination here. Now, to add the cherry on top of, uh-oh, something's very wrong, and all these feel-good stories, well, they're just there to kick the can down the road, in my opinion. Americans not making their mortgage payments soar by 10x in 1 month. These articles are off of Zero Hedge. Looking across the landscape of money movement, money in a pocket going back to a bank, either in commercial mortgages, individual mortgages, people aren't paying. And then the rental market as well, 30% of renters didn't pay this April. And now JP Morgan halting all non-government guaranteed small business loans. So what is that telling you? People aren't paying. People are behind in their payments. And there's a gargantuan lockup in terms of money squeezing out of a pocket to come back to pay. How about a vendor or a supplier, a trucking company? I bet the same thing's happening there. It'll be just another few days and we'll get those types of numbers coming out. But how long will it go? If you're not paying me and I'm supplying you with your fertilizer, do you think I'm going to cut you off? In case in point here, this world merchandise trade volume forecast, red line, green line on the right, it's looking more toward the pessimistic scenario. So the amount of merchandise, which would include base constituents for fertilizer and seed and pesticides and herbicide and fungicide, all wrapped up into a nice little ag package, follow that red line. Because if you want to look at it in a different way that the World Bank put out here, they did trade growth versus the world GDP growth, and whoa, crashing on the bottom there. 2009 is the other big dip that you'll see as we go back in time going left on the chart. That is exponentially above what happened in that incredible event in 2008, 9, and 10 where the global economy locked up. We're something double to triple moving into that, and somehow goods are going to keep flowing unimpeded? Yeah, I don't think so. And also looking at the earnings estimates going out a full year. This is on the S&P 500. That red line means factories stop. That means banking stops, transport stops. A reset is in play. So that's why the Fed's saying, hey, don't go get your money out, because they want to try to give you a haircut and lock it in just like they did in Cyprus and Greece. I highly encourage you to take a look at that. This is the U.S. currency circulation. Now, you notice the last time that so many people pulled so much money out of the bank, Y2K. Right now, second most. And then we got the FDIC saying, please leave your money in the bank. It's all good there. Please don't pull your money out. I mean, the reason they probably want you to leave the money in, that's my personal opinion, is that the more money that's in the bank, when they grab it and say, oh, bail in for the bank, there'll be more there to bail the bank out by using your money, called a bail in, which I also encourage you to take a look at what that is and how legally they can confiscate your money and give you what, 20 bucks a day? Was that how much they gave in Cyprus? 20 euros a day after they grabbed everybody's savings out of the banks there? Greece as well. I wonder if USA will be next. Not sure, but anyway, go get some toilet paper. The asteroid's on the way. I could call that an economic asteroid, actually. But go get more toilet paper. It's all good. And how prepared are you for emergencies? I mean, food is way superior to toilet paper, especially if you can store it for a longer time. My Patriot Supply, Adapt 2030, 2-week grab-and-go food crate, or the 4-week food supply. The delivery times have actually come down a little bit. Their bottleneck in terms of packing and shipping has decreased by now 2 weeks. So I think they're looking at about 8 weeks to get delivery, just in the perfect time, because they are looking for wave 2 coming in through the winter of 2020. Lockdown 2.0, how ready are you for that? Thanks for watching. Hope you got something out of the video, and please remember to join us every Thursday night for the live stream, and I'll see you next time.